Father Rani Aquino. Good morning po, Father.
Good morning!
Good morning, Ted. Good morning.
Good morning. And again, thank you ho for finding time to be with us this morning po, Father. Okay, ano ho ang implikasyon nito? Ito hong inyo napanood po na video doon po sa meeting o a day after ng Mamasapano incident.
Yes. You know that the first time I saw this video was at your program, no? I think it was at your program. It was an evening program. I don't know now if
TV
my
Patrol.
memory is right.
Apo, in TV Patrol Friday. Yes, sir. Yes, Father. Apo.
Yes, I did watch it. And my first reaction was, my goodness, this opens a whole can of worms. At dapat ito'y pinakinggan sa Senado and before the other investigating bodies because it does say a lot. Unang-una, Ted, no? During the briefing, Napenas admits that there were 3 previous attempts, and all of these were coordinated with Purisima. Now, you can see very clearly Napenas' attempt not to implicate anybody up the hierarchy. In fact, Secretary Rojas was asking a leading question. Sabi niya, did you ask anybody higher up the chain?
Mm-hmm.
And Napenas says, no, sir. He kept saying, no, sir. Pero at the end, when he said, when Secretary Rojas nung tinanong niya, sa ikatlong attempt na ito, for this third attempt, I am SILG Secretary. Whom did you coordinate with? I did not know this. I did not even know the 3 attempts. That's when Napenas said, I coordinated with Purisima, with a certain Medrano, and very importantly, he said, we briefed the President.
Mm-hmm.
He also further went on to say, my advice to the President was that we would let the AFP know at time of target. In other words, Ted, it is very clear that the President was briefed, that he knew what was happening, and that he agreed that the AFP would only be informed at the time Napenas recommended that they would be informed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that in the light of what Napenas now says, the President can claim na hindi niya alam kung anong nangyayari.
Okay, so tapos na nga po ang hearing po ng Senado at meron pa hong hearing daw sa Kamara. At ngayon po ang Board of Inquiry hindi pa ho tapos, wala pa silang report. Do you suggest, Father, na talaga pong ito i-consider ng mga investigating bodies na ito, no?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the Senate should pay attention to it again,
mm-hmm.
and the lower house should, if it wants its report to be complete, because this is, as it were, talaga smoking gun, no? At kung hindi nila i-consider ito, then it will be very clear that there was willful omission of necessary evidence.
Opo, at dito ho nga ang talaga pong klaro ho dito na ang lahat ng operasyon alam ho ng ating presidente. Yan po ang klaro ho dito. Ipinaalam sa kanya pati ho yung kanilang balakin daw na time on target na kasi sa akin po, ang akin pong presumption dito nung binanggit niya na itong time on target na kanilang plano to inform the AFP kapag naandun na, wala naman siyang binanggit dito na sila ay sinabihan ng presidente na sabihin na mas maaga ang AFP.
Correct. In fact, the word was my advice to the President. And they went on according to the plan. So, ibig sabihin, hindi tumutol ang Pangulo. Mm-hmm. Not only that, there's something very important, no? All this time, in fact, in one question, whom did you coordinate with? Sagot Napenas. Sagot naman ni Secretary Rojas. At the time, he was already suspended. Yes, sir. Now, Ted, kung ikaw ba naman ay subordinate officer at alam mo kung kaninong nanggagaling ang command, why do you take orders from a suspended official? There's only one answer for that. Kaya kang tumatanggap ng mga utos ng isang suspended official kasi alam mo na nasa likod niya ang ultimate commander.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Opo. At again, just to clarify, ito number one, si Purisima na umaakto pa ho, no? Na gumaganap pa ho sa kanyang tila tungkulin niya bilang Chief PMP na siya suspended, yan po ay klaro na ho na paglabag sa batas, Father, no?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Tapos pagkatapos, go ahead. Opo. Okay. At pagkatapos po, itong ating Pangulo ho, the fact na siya ang kanya hong ka-coordinate dito ay suspended Chief PNP under the law, Father. Maliwanag ho ba yun na meron siya paglabag?
Of course, not only is he abetting and condoning and allowing the usurpation of public office, one can even say that the usurpation could not have taken place had it not been for the president.
Mm-hmm.
Because how can a suspended PNP director, how can a suspended PNP chief give orders unless he does so by authority or consent of his superior, who is the president himself?
Opo. Father, 36 days na po, no? Since nangyari po ito sa Mamasapano, hindi ho ito tumitigil, no? Hindi, as a matter of fact, hindi nga po humuhupa. At eto pa ho, may panibago pong video na inilabas. And ang akin po ditong simpleng analysis na ito ho'y sinadyang ilabas nga na nanggaling doon mismo, no, sa grupo ho na nakipagpulong diyan sa dito ho sa malapit dito ho sa Maguindanao, no. Ito Enero 26 nangyari the day after. Tingin niyo ho ba bakit po hindi humuhupa, Father? Bakit hindi tumatigil?
Number one, Ted, kung ikaw ba naman ay namatayan at miyembro ka ng pamilya ng namatay na sundalo na pulis, papayagan mo ba na humupa ang issue habang wala pang closure in the form of justice? You can say napakadami ng perang binigay. No amount of money can make up for the lack of justice being done then. And number two, the nation wants to know the truth. But Ted, no, here dapat tayong matuto ng leksyon eh. Why is it so hard for Pinoy to say now on national television, I'm sorry?
Mm-hmm.
Why? He learned this lesson eh. Nung I'm sorry si Pangulong Arroyo, did the nation forgive her? No. That became the major criticism against her. In fact, she was ridiculed for saying, I'm sorry. So now, he doesn't like to say, I'm sorry, because he doesn't want to go through the same ordeal that GMA went. Even if under more mature civilizations, for a government official to say, I'm sorry, would be the most noble thing to do. Kaya din tayo mga tao, dapat din tayo matuto. No? When an official sincerely says, I'm sorry, well, let's accept the apology, let's criticize, but let's not ridicule the official for saying, I'm sorry. That's the reason he doesn't like to say, I'm sorry now, but decency dictates that he should apologize.
Mm. Pero siguro, kung atin din po namang aanalisahin po yung mga pangyayari ng panahon po ni Madam Gloria, parang ang tagal na ho munang pumutok yung issue at nung sobra na ho talaga ang ingay at hindi na ho maitatanggi yung kanyang boses doon sa tape, tsaka siya ho I'm sorry. In this case po, nagsalita na pong ating Pangulo ng once at twice. Pero nung ka nga po, as alleged by some sectors, nung ka ho siya ay nagtapat talaga sa tunay pong nangyari at ginawa niyang pakikipagkoordinasyon sa isang chief PNP na suspended. So, this might be all water under the bridge, pero kung siya ho ba sa simulat sa pool pa lamang, unang talumpati pa lang nagsabi na ng katotohanan sa lahat ng pangyayari, do you think that it should have matter?
Yes, of course. Very much said, very much.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, the investigations would have also taken a different direction. In fact, yung pina-play mo kanina, just before you started speaking, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yung last remarks niya, ang tanong ko ay bakit itinuloy pa ang operasyon kahit na alam nilang napakalabo. In other words, that is a half truth, because kung pakinggan mo yun, it's as if he did not know what was happening. But this last video we just now played, or you just now played, makes very clear alam niya.
Mm-hmm.
Because Napenas said, for this third attempt, I coordinated with Purisima, I coordinated with Mendez, and I briefed the president.
All right. So, Father, paano po ang closure nito? Ano ho ang magtingin po ninyo? Because right now, hindi pa ho nga tapos, no? At dahil po sa nangyari nga ito, na panibago pong material, no? Video material, dito ho sa meeting sa 6th Infantry Division sa Awang, Maguindanao, lalo pa hong iingay ito. Paano ho ito Ano ho, kung kayo po'y pakikinggan lamang ng Malacanang, ano ho ang inyong payo po sa kanila para po ito'y humupa po at matapos na po ito?
No, one of my first pieces of advice is not for Malacanang. One of my first pieces of advice is for Congress. Let Senate come up with a credible, transparent, public report that does justice to all the evidence, especially the state. Number 2, let Malacanang own up to its responsibilities and not count on its supposed popularity. And number 3, let the discussion on BBL take into consideration all that happened, including the fact that ito ay nakakabahala na hanggang ngayon, nagmamatigas pa rin ang MIMF na ayaw nilang isuko yung mga taong responsable sa pagkamatay ng mga tao natin. Those measures together will not bring an immediate end to all the pain, but it will help in bringing closure to this terrible chapter of our history.
Opo. At will it still matter ho kung sakasakaling mag-third speech pa ang Presidente and totally reverse kumbaga lahat ng mga binanggit niya ng kanyang dalawang speech and say the truth about what really happened?
Well, it will have the same effect as your analysis of GMA's speech. It's telling the truth only because he was pressured to do it and because of the winter of discontent that has set up on us.
That will now be immaterial at this point.
Yeah.
Parang lalo kang susumbatan na nagsinungaling ka na ng una, di ba? Parang kung di ka pa naipit, hindi pa lumabas itong mga bagay na ito, hindi ka aamin. Parang ganun pong dating.
Yeah. It will be helpful for him to apologize and to be humble about it, instead of letting his spokespersons make up all sorts of excuses. Yun pang isang nakakasar. But, Ted, as both of us said, it should have come earlier. After all, he knew the truth earlier.
Alright, sige po. So, Father, abangan po natin kung ano ho ang magiging development this week dahil yung BOI report daw ho malapit na matapos. Pero again, sa akin po lamang pag-iisip over the weekend, I was contemplating, bakit nilabas itong video na to, no? Sino ho ang nag-leak nito? So yung taong nag-leak...
there are two possibilities there. One possibility I see is because people who held that tape know that the BOI report will be lacking in that detail. Or it's also possible that they are preparing us to accept the details of the BOI report. Pero, you know why I'm also worried about the BOI report? Because instead of lending clarity to the whole thing, baka lalo pang malilito tayo sa ilalabas ng BOI, especially it enjoys the cloak of authority, yung BOI na yan. Kaya namin sinasabi, magmula pa noon, dapat hindi BOI kung hindi isang naitatag na Truth Commission or fact-finding body.
Well, nabanggit niyo po yung Truth Commission na yan, Father. At isa rin po nga sa akin pong palaisipan sa akin is that if you remember sa pagharap po ni General Katapang in the Senate during the last hearing, last day, he was requesting for a higher body to investigate the incident. I mean, the Chief of Staff of the AFP, para bang hindi siya kontento sa hearing in the Senate and in the House, and he would like to have another body to investigate everything. So, with that statement and this feeding ng video sa publiko, parang there's really something cropping up.
In fact, Senator Gingona proceeded with his own committee hearings on whether or not the Truth Commission should be established. Because Katapang is right, no? How can you fully trust a BOI report when the BOI is a mechanism of the very agency under investigation? All right, it is. We will give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait and see. But I hope that that report will not even confuse more an already confused nation. No.
Opo. They really have to be aware of that. Na make or break ito, yung report na yan.
Yeah.
Opo.
Yeah, Ted, one last thing. I would be very afraid of pushing the people too far. Kasi up to now, our people have been very tolerant and our people have been long-suffering. Pero pag talagang tuloy-tuloy ang kasinungalingan at cover-up, our people might start thinking of alternatives which are not within the Constitution.
Which we don't really support, no? We don't want that to happen.
Which we cannot support. Because at all times, we must uphold the rule of law. Thomas More said that a long time ago already. If you cut down all the trees in the forest of the law, where will you seek refuge when the storms of anarchy blow, you know?
Yes, sir. Well said. Okay, Father, again, thank you for your time. We'll be keeping in touch at tayo pong lahat ay magmamasid sa mga mangyayari po ngayong linggong ito, Father. Thank you, Father.
Most welcome, Ted. Most welcome.
Thank you.